Hello dear students, welcome to Bajirao Ias Academy interview guidance program. So in today's lecture we are going to discuss about subcategorization of scheduled caste. Now earlier we have discussed about subcategorization of other backward classes and Justice Rohini Commission was appointed for that purpose. So however, now we have to discuss about subcategorization of scheduled caste. So I hope all of you have the basic idea about what does it mean when we say subcategorization of any caste, whether it is scheduled caste, scheduled tribe or other backward classes. Now if you look at the different caste groups, for example, different reservation categories, OBCs have got 27% of the reservation, scheduled castes have got 15% and scheduled tribes have got 7.5% of reservation. So in this context, each reservation category has diverse number of caste groups. Within those diverse number of caste groups, a few caste groups are progressive enough socially, educationally and economically. So other caste groups within the same reservation category are considered as backward classes or marginalized sections. So because of the 27% of reservation for OBCs and 15% of the reservation for scheduled caste, only few castes are getting the actual benefit of this reservation, but those weakest caste groups still not getting the benefits of the 15% reservation or 27% of the reservation as per the category. So in this context, there have been demands for the subcategorization within these reservation category groups. So now we will be discussing about subcategorization of scheduled caste. Now if you understand, recently there was a committee so that was formed for the purpose of evaluate or to work out a method for the equitable distribution of caste benefits for the most backward communities among scheduled castes without breaking up the scheduled caste quota. So what does this mean? Now scheduled castes were provided 15% of the reservation. So since they have been provided 15% of the reservation, only few castes within the scheduled castes are getting benefits of this 15% of the reservation. So this committee's overall purpose or committee's overall mandate is to ensure equitable distribution of benefits to the most backward communities within the scheduled castes. Okay, for this purpose, subcategorization or there was a separate committee that was formed for the subcategorization of scheduled castes. So I hope you have understood what does it mean. Now why this committee has been formed? So what is the purpose of forming such a committee for the subcategorization of scheduled castes? Now first we have to understand the data as well related to the scheduled caste population. Now as per the 2011 census, scheduled caste population comprises 15% of the total population. So as per the ratio of the population, 15% of the reservation is being provided for the scheduled castes. So the overall objective of this committee that was formed for the subcategorization of SCs is to ensure equitable distribution of this 15% of caste based reservation to all the communities within the category of scheduled caste. So this is the purpose. Because of this reason, the committee was formed. Now if you understand this in a very detailed way, so there was a community called Madika community and it is considered as scheduled caste community in Telangana. So this community consists of 50% of the SC population. Okay, so if you look at the all SC population in the state of Telangana, 50% of the population, SC population, are from Madika community. However, even though they have the 50% of the population, so they often feel crowded out of benefits by the Mala community. So Mala community is another SC community. So however, within SCs, Mala community is a little forward community. It is a progressive community compared to the Madika community. So even though they have 50% of the population, the Mala community has actually a more progressive community, and it is taking the benefits of 15% of the reservation that is envisioned for the scheduled castes. Okay, so this is the first reason. Now, SC communities in several states, they actually said that they have been routinely crowded out of the benefits. Okay, so similar to the Madiga community in Telangana, and and in other states also there were similar concerns. So they have been routinely crowded out of the benefits. So they are actually meant for scheduled castes. So by dominant and relatively forward communities in their category. So this is the reason why there was a separate committee for the subcategorization of scheduled castes. Okay, so within the category, SC category or ST category, OBC category, so there are different caste groups. Okay, so within these categories, these different caste groups, in terms of development, so there's a different degrees of development in each of these caste groups. So there are progressive communities or progressive caste groups, and there are marginalized caste groups. Now within this caste category, 15% of the reservation benefits have actually benefiting the progressive community within SCs. So therefore there is a need for the equitable distribution of all the reservation benefits to all the caste groups within scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, or other backward classes. So for this reason, so there was a separate committee for the subcategorization within SCs. Now in this context, we have to understand what are the previous attempts of subcategorization. So earlier there was Justice Ramachandran Raju Committee. Okay, so this committee was formed by the government of Andhra Pradesh. So however, this committee, Justice Ramachandra Raju Committee, has recommended for subcategorization of scheduled caste in the state. Okay, so however, the subcategorization should be based on the evidence that some communities were more backward and had less representation than the others. Okay, so if the state government has the adequate or enough evidence that some communities within the scheduled castes are less represented, are more backward, so then there is a need for the subcategorization within the scheduled caste. This is what Justice Ramachandra Raju Committee has recommended. In earlier discussion about subcategorization of OBCs, we have talked about E.V. Chennaiah versus State of Andhra Pradesh judgment as well, judgment of the Supreme Court. So in this judgment, the Supreme Court has held that state did not have any powers to unilaterally subcategorize the communities within STs, SCs and OBCs. Okay, so Supreme Court says that state have no powers to subcategorize the SC/ST communities. So why? Because the Constitution has provided this right solely to the Parliament, and then it would be notified by the President. Okay, so because of this reason, in E.V. Chennaiah versus State of Andhra Pradesh case, the Supreme Court has not given a go-ahead for the states to subcategorize the scheduled castes. Okay, so however, there was a report, National Commission report. So this is also for subcategorization of scheduled caste, or to the issue of subcategorization of scheduled caste in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And this committee has recommended an amendment to Article 341 of the Indian Constitution. Now in this context, we have to understand what does Article 341 Clause 1 and Article 341 Clause 2 says. So Article 341 Clause 1 says that President, after consultation with the Governor of State, specify the caste, races, tribes deemed to be a scheduled caste. Okay, so this article gives the sole power to the President to specify the caste, races, tribes deemed to be the scheduled caste. And Article 341 Clause 2 says that Parliament may by law include or exclude from the list of scheduled caste specified in a notification issued under Class 1. Okay, for example, the President first issues or specify certain caste, races or tribes as scheduled castes, and within the list the Parliament may by law can include or exclude certain castes, races and tribes which are part of the scheduled caste. So this is what Article 341 clause 1 and Article 341 clause 2 says. Okay, so in this context, the National Commission report suggests that there is a need to amend Article 341 so that the states will have power to subcategorize scheduled caste. So subcategorization of scheduled caste will benefit the least advantaged sections within those categories. Okay, reservation categories. Now if you look at states like Andhra Pradesh, they have already subcategorized OBCs, other backward classes. Okay, so the SCs and ST communities or categories were not yet subcategorized. Okay, so in this context, we have to understand different functions of the committee. What are the main functions of the committee? So the first most important function of the committee is to subcategorize the scheduled caste. Okay, so the overall objective of the committee is to subcategorize the scheduled caste and ensure that the reservation benefits are equitably distributed across all the sections. So the panel will discuss about breaking up SC quota of the table. Okay, so now this 15% of the quota will be divided within the different caste groups within SCs, and it will also look into the ways in which benefits of other government schemes. So there are different government schemes, so that are particularly for the benefit of scheduled castes and different caste groups within the scheduled castes. So any initiatives that can be focused towards these SC communities. After that, there are certain special initiatives that can be proposed, suggested by these committees, so that will help in uplifting these marginalized sections of the society. Okay, so it will design special initiatives. So the committee or the commission will itself design special initiatives for communities that need it and focus on existing programs to ensure a more equitable distribution of the benefits. Now the third most important function the terms of reference of this committee is that deadline. So the government has not provided any deadline to this committee. However, the government clearly says that the committee has to provide its report at its earliest. Okay, so as early as possible the committee must submit its report to the government. Now after that, so there are specific considerations also that has been provided as part of the terms of reference by the government to this committee. Now it will figure out on what basis SC communities are going to be shortlisted for special attention. So within the SC category, so there is a need for special attention. So therefore, in this context, it will figure out on what basis SC communities are going to be treated or given special attention, or find out extent to which special initiative need to be designed for each of them, and then find a way to deliver them. Okay, so this is what is exactly the functions of the committee. Okay, so this is the overall objective or the functions of the committee. Now after that, we have to understand there are certain arguments in favor of subcategorization of SCs as well as certain arguments which are against the subcategorization of scheduled castes. Now in this context, what are those arguments in favor of or arguments against subcategorization? So firstly, if we look at the argument which is in favor of subcategorization, that is graded inequalities. So within the caste category or the reservation category, there are different inequalities. There are inequalities within different caste groups. So the graded inequalities among SC communities is actually the reason for subcategorization of SCs. So I hope you have understood the essence of subcategorization of scheduled castes. Okay, so after that, the next argument which is in favor of subcategorization is SC category. Okay, so even among the marginalized, there are communities that have lesser access to basic facilities. So this is also in line with the above mentioned or above discussed aspects. So within SCs there are different caste groups. Now one caste group is getting the reservation benefits, However, the other caste group is being excluded. So therefore, in this context, even among the marginalized sections, so SC category is considered as marginalized. So even among the marginalized, there are communities that have lesser access to the basic facilities as well. So this is the second argument in favor of subcategorization of SCs. Now after that, there are few more arguments about the subcategorization of SCs. Now the third argument would be inequality in reservation. So, relatively forward communities within the same reservation category, so within SCs, have managed to avail the benefits consistently while crowding out the marginalized or backward classes within the same category. Okay, so there's an inequality in reservation. After that, the sub quota as a solution. A separate reservation is required to the more backward communities within the reservation meant for SCs. Now, if we divide this 15% of the reservation within different caste groups based on the relative progressiveness of those communities, then the reservation benefits should be equitably distributed across all the caste groups within the SCs, so that the benefits will be equitably distributed across the all caste groups. However, we have to understand there are certain arguments as well, so which are against the subcategorization of scheduled castes. Now, in fact, E.V. Chennaiah versus State of Andhra Pradesh judgment, Supreme Court has clearly mentioned that state governments have no power to subcategorize the scheduled castes or scheduled tribes. Okay, so in this context, it will not address the root cause of the problem. So root cause of the problem is social injustice, historical backwardness, right? So the focus should be on ensuring social justice and also addressing the historical injustice. So National Commission for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe have noted that separate reservation within the categories would not really address the root cause of the problem. So this is what National Commission for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes have suggested. And after that, it has also suggested that the separate quota will not be a solution. So National Commission for Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe has noted that the most backward within the SCs are lagging so far behind forward SCs that a separate quota would not help. The need of the hour is representation at all levels. So not just by giving, separate, not just by giving reservation benefits, so separate quota will not just address the problem. There is a need for representation at all levels for those who are backward within the scheduled caste group. Now after that, so there are few more arguments about the against the subcategorization of SCs. So firstly, we need to talk about the disparity issue. So even if posts were reserved at higher levels, the most backward within SCs would not have enough candidates to be considered for it in the first place. Okay, so this is the another major issue within the SCs. And after that, when we talk about accessing schemes, National Commission for Scheduled Castes and National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, so they actually said that existing schemes and government benefits should first reach to these sections before any subcategorization. So before actually subcategorize this, you have to ensure that the proper benefits, the government programs should reach to all the caste groups within SCs before doing any subcategorization. So first you ensure that all the benefits of the government schemes should reach to all the caste groups within SCs. So these are arguments in favor of, arguments against subcategorization of SCs. Now in this context, what lies ahead? Okay, so what would be the way forward? So first way forward would be, legal experts have actually pointed out that there is a necessity to have a concrete data to support subcategorization. So when we have a concrete data on subcategorization, so that will help compel the judiciary and even compel the parliament to take positive steps for the subcategorization of SCs. So that will also generate enough public sentiment about the subcategorization within SCs. Secondly, so the data about the SCs and STs, OBCs should be made through caste census of each community and sub-community and their respective socio-economic data. So the only thing that can provide a reasonable ground to decide how castes can be categorized, how much percentage should be given. Okay, so when we have adequate amount of data that has been acquired through the caste census, so that will help us understand how much reservation benefits should be provided to the caste groups within SCs, and what are the special initiatives and policies that are required for the advancement and upliftment of different caste groups within SCs, STs and OBCs. Okay, so therefore we need solid and concrete data on this. So that's all in this lecture. Thank you so much. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also like our video. Thank you.